It's interesting. It says I've been streaming for 10 hours, which I very much hope is not the case for round 6. Alright, so hopefully I get those messages. Hopefully we live in a world of peace and abundance. Fingers crossed. Hey everyone, kicking off my Friday dev. Happy to see you. We'll just get Nova. We'll just wake Nova up. Eventually, it'll just be a kids show like, "Hey Nova, time to wake up." And just make sure all the sound and stuff's working. Hey Nova, how you going? That swoosh noise is so loud.
I'm functioning optimally and ready to tackle tasks. How can I assist you today? Have you had any interesting new thoughts or projects on your mind?
Well, what we're working on at the moment, we're right in the thick of it, is taking an index and like of a queryable document, and then creating a graph over the top of it using llamaIndex. So maybe I think you could probably just do some searching on llamaIndex, multiple documents, try and find some of the different approaches, and find like just to, like if you could go like a bit sort of like deep and broad, I guess, on the llamaIndex documentation about different ways to like handle multiple documents and queries across them. What I'd recommend is looking for different, like when you find the information, like ask follow-up questions of that same document, and then get the URLs that they like, just be like, and what URL is that linking to inside the document, so you can like traverse through the website, because we don't really have that website traversal yet. But yeah, basically the goal here is to get the traversal working, sorry, not the traversal working, get the graph query working. So it's basically the llamaindex.ai webpage, the unified query, basically. So it's kind of like the older way that they've done it, where you basically get sets of indexes and then you create a graph on top and you query that, which I'm glad I found this, because I was struggling to find it. And the other ways they do it are agentic, which is fine, like agent based, but I just wanted to get this like simpler way. It's probably harder to do it this way, but like it's closer to the metal. So yeah, that, like if I can just get the querying across multiple documents done in some form, I'll be very happy. Okay, so this is where we're up to. Basically, yeah, so basically the index is like this structure
I
that,
found a few resources that align with your request on handling multiple documents and queries using llamaIndex 1. Multi-document agents, llamaIndex 0, 9 is Dex, I, stable examples, A, document agents, HTML stop, This document talks about defining both a vector index for semantic search and a summary index for summarization for each document. These query engines are then converted into tools to combine and query multiple documents with LLM. Community combine and query multiple documents with LLM. June 1st, 2023, an article that discusses how to combine a semantic index with a keyword index to handle splitting and routing queries correctly in LlamaIndex. 3. Parallel multi-document question answering with LlamaIndex / positive thinking tech insight / LLM - mini-series parallel multi-document question answering with LlamaIndex and retrieval augmented generation. August 30th, 23. An insight on how retrieval augmented generation, RAG, is used in parallel multi-document question answering. In RAG, a query triggers a semantic search retrieval pipeline. Would you like me to dive deeper into any of these resources or look for additional information?
Yeah, if you could dive into each one and get from each one query query the overall approach and key thesis, and then get examples of how they do it for each one, so we can build up a bit of a triangulate the approaches, and just please try and remember to use multiple queries on the same document to get the answer. Maintain a note of your work, etc.
Would you like me to dive deeper into any of these resources or look for additional information?
Yeah, so if you could go query each document, and like the URLs you've got, and find query them for an overall overview of their approach, and then query them for any examples of how they do it, and then take notes of questions that get generated by the responses, like things you're not sure about, and then query them for the answers of those questions. And please also try and keep a running note as you go.
Here's a summary of the research on the LlamaIndex approach to handling multiple documents and queries. Overview of approach. LlamaIndex uses document agents for each individual document. Each document agent is equipped with a vector index for semantic searches and a summary index for summarizations. These query engines are then altered to become tools that are provided to an OpenAI function calling agent. The document agent can dynamically select between performing a semantic search or summarization within its assigned document. A top-level parent agent with an object index is established to manage interactions across different document agents to respond to user queries using a top-K retriever method. Example of handling multiple documents and queries. A top-level parent agent incorporates all document agents as tools. This parent agent retrieves tools before their use, which is a divergence from default agents that try to include all tools in the prompt. The object index and retriever orchestrated by the top-level agent to answer queries over various documents. LlamaIndex allows assembling multi-document agents capable of responding to numerous question types across an extensive document set. Questions to explore further. Details on setting up agents to answer queries over larger document sets. Specific use cases like QA over individual or multiple documents, document comparison, and summary comparisons. The building of document agents, including the establishment of vector and summary indexes for each. Techniques of semantic search and summarization within document.
Okay, this is great. Could you please write this to a note? I'm not sure why that's not happening at the moment. But that helps us pull our notes out of individual conversations. And then could you please go through, essentially, that was perfect, but then could you please go through the same workflow with the other URLs that you retrieved? So basically right now I'm working through this tutorial. It's like kind of an older way to do it, I think. Like given that Nova's responses there were just like use the agent approach, which is fine. But this is just like the way I want to do it, because it's like the first way I saw it and I remember finding it really intimidating, and I just want to understand it. I feel like it's kind of like a lower level approach, even if it's like a bit, not worse, but Let's crash Nova anyway. I try and use Nova like in parallel. And I guess I like to push it kind of to the limit anytime I'm using it. But a lot of the times it's actually like bugs or bad error handling or whatever. So it's sort of, honestly, feeling a bit frustrated, like just doing the same, like, I don't know, putting a lot of work in and then just little bugs and stuff, a bit annoying. And then fixing them takes a bunch of time where I'm not really moving forward on the interesting stuff. So, you know, I guess it's just, you've got to know if you want to be like in it to win it, I guess. I don't know, like if you want to, you've got to decide to, like if you're committed to something, then the big part of that is just working through the like pain, I guess. And then, but also I think as I'm getting a bit older, being like, well, should I be committed to this? Is this what I should be doing right now? I'm kind of like swinging around. So at least finding like technically I found like that I hit what I said was like my good like end point with all the onboarding and that last big share. But I do want to just like have one pass at this sort of like knowledge management. It's quite tricky. So yeah, basically what's happening here is it's getting, like this is extra tricky because I'm like using essentially my own like index creation and retrieval system. So I'm kind of like porting this tutorial to what I've got already because I just couldn't be bothered doing it by itself, which is kind of honestly a bit of a rookie mistake. It's probably easier to just do the tutorial completely by itself first, but whatever, who cares? So basically it's getting the indexes and then it's creating like a dictionary of the indexes. And then it is getting summaries. And then it is, you know what, should probably be, let's just deal with that later. Then it's creating a root index, which like is a graph on top. Which I don't quite, so the graph.getIndex, which is this. So as far as I can tell, it's like creating an index out of composable graph from indices. So it takes the root index class is like, so it's like a simple keyword table. It takes the indexes, it takes the summaries and this other stuff. Then it sets this ID, I don't know why. It creates the root summary, which I can't see where that's getting used, but that's fine. So it's basically creating an index on top of it, which I wouldn't be surprised if it's actually like pretty similar to the agentic approach. Maybe they've just made it so that it's like this method is aligned with tools and agents. So here it goes. For the indexes, query engine, custom query engine. So it's creating this custom query engine. And then it says graph. The query engine is the graph as a query engine. And then it takes a bunch of engines, which is like, yeah, I'm not sure I'm digging the term engine, but that's fine. Okay, so query string equals, so we've got the query already. So then we just go, okay, so I guess I delete all of this for now. I may as well just get rid of this. So this was my first pass where I was basically trying to merge the indexes, but well, I couldn't figure out how to like crack the nut, so to speak. It was like not that easily scrutinized, the actual index itself. So I should be able to go response equals query engine dot query I think I just call it query here, so I don't know if that's getting used anywhere else here that would confuse things. No. Okay, cool. Okay, so I should be able to go here and then here. Okay, just use the computer and then so what I'm trying to do at the base level is purely just get it successfully querying two documents. So as long as it recognizes that there's two, even if the answer's shit, I'm happy. It's a bit painful the way that like I have to kind of like spin up the system and it's kind of one of those things where you it's the debate between waiting and like putting time in to fix something basically, or just dealing with it so that you can focus on what you're focusing on. So I do feel like there's like a bit of a quality of life phase that should come soon. Okay, so it's errored here. Index.index struct. You know what, we need a different note, I think. Well, isn't that? So I have a feeling that some of the issues I was having were to do with possibly that one of the notes is a prompt. It's like not queryable essentially because it's not a document. It's a system command. Okay, so now I can query across. No. Yeah, there we go. So we switch this out for NOVA to do. Okay, so it seems like index node text is summary. Yep. I wish I could just like log or something. Index dot like, so it does have a summary value. Index dot tell me your secrets. Query index was never awaited. All right, well let's see this. The ergonomics of having to click this like 4 times to get through to where I need to test is annoying. But you know, on the other hand, like I've got this like debug flag system that's pretty handy. You know, it's making progress. There we go. I've got this system that lets me like spoof at least the commands from the agent, which I'm probably going to end up making like my own like the user command system as well. So it's basically saying the graph, let me have a look again at this using vector store. remember the first time I read this, I was just like, what the fuck? I still kind of am, to be honest. But I guess I'm... Okay, so index summaries, these are just strings. I wonder why this is in brackets like that. Okay, so I guess I could go, now here we go. So this is the doc store. This is the vector store. This is the vector store. So if I was like index dot, so they're there. I know they're there. That doesn't matter. So maybe I can go easy print. Oh no, because I was getting that. Get summary. Oh well, where was it printing that? Oh yeah, okay. So I'm getting the summary. I'm getting the doc. I don't see what this would be in brackets. I don't know what that would be. I guess I'll just easy print anything vector indices, index summaries, debug keys, message equals vectors and summaries. Maybe I'll just check what that label is actually, because maybe it's easy print label, debug keys, message, returned label. Okay, so I'm not sure if putting this in the brackets will make like something. If I look here from indices, it's like sequence string. What's a sequence? Oh, okay, yeah, it's this that for. So it's expecting a sequence. Okay. It's me. Hang on. Hey, buddy. Is that like really far behind? No, it's just. One watching now, is that me? Probably? Not sure. I feel like I don't find out when people are like on there. Is that me? Probably? Sure. I feel like I don't find out when people are like on there. Resolution's pretty gnarly. Whatever. Distracted. Ah. Oh yeah. Okay. So I'm kind of starting to think like the deeper index integration, like LlamaIndex is great, like, but it's kind of maybe it could do in the sense that like I realize like a lot of what it's doing is like creating a way for like composing queries across multiple documents and questions, and like Nova sort of does that already. Like you could see it before. In fact, I'm sort of like type error string, str type expected. Maybe I just do need to make it a string. Like I'm tossing up actually scrapping the multi-document query for now, because it's not that I actually think it's pretty important, but it's like maybe it's not critical to like Nova's, like there's kind of like more bigger must-dos. And I'm maybe getting a bit lost in the reads with it a bit, but it's okay, whatever. Doesn't really matter. Okay, so maybe I'll just make sure that the summary is a string, because like the response object is an object actually, I'm pretty sure. And maybe I convert it to a string later on in the chain normally. I missed something here. Root ID, root ID. Okay, so, oh, that's later on. So I'm kind of tossing up also, like, if you do a query across multiple documents, it's creating an index, should it actually preserve that index? Like, I'm not sure. So the graph gets made. So graph.getIndex. So we go from indices, storage, index summaries, root index class, base index. Graph.get root. Index struct message equals graph index struct, whatever, doesn't really matter. Okay, so it definitely uses so what does it say we're doing here? Maybe I'm now we compose a keyword table on top of these vector indices with these indices and summaries in order to build the graph. Okay, so where's the docs? It's interesting, I found that, like, not all the time, but more and more, like, actually just reading the raw docs is better. Make the docs. Like, these guides are awesome, but the actual, like, so it's the API, but, like, where's just the, like, class definitions and stuff? Whatever. Okay, so we've got this graph as a composable graph from indices, property root ID is self.root ID, which is set by root ID, which is, maybe if I just set the root ID, what's a quag? I feel like a quag is just their way of saying like anything else, quick args that you want to pass around. It's just like a blob. One good thing is we're getting through creating the graph, which is good. Okay, so maybe I can just leave that as none. Let's see what happens. This kind of shit, I've been getting like pretty bad hand pain past like half a year. But 3 were given. Is that the one that just changed? There we go. So it's got the keywords. Huh. That's good to see. It's pretty cool because I'm actually like seeing the data structure. Like I guess it's all written down somewhere, but this is kind of the only way. Well, I found that when I'm interacting with stuff like this, it just kind of okay. And so yeah, I've basically been like managing my own sort of like summary indexing kind of system as well. I guess I've realized it's like honestly nearly exactly the same. So I think I'm just going to port to this because it's better. It does more. Like I think I'm probably doing too much like of my own stuff, but it's been good because I kind of like have felt my own like pain points in approaching it. So root index equals graph.getIndex. So if I just give it nothing, Yeah, so that's not it. Okay, so graph index struct, it does have an index ID. Oh no, the root ID is, get root index. Let's see if I can just easy print graph debug keys message equals whole graph. I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say that the root ID is not in the index struct, or like it's not there. I just checked it, it's not there. Okay, so I've printed the graph. Get index takes 3, 1 to 2, but 3 were given. What's that fucking mean? Okay, so then I'm just going to run it again. What I'm also going to do is go easy print graph.index struct root ID debug keys root ID apparently. I actually do dot get brackets root ID none. I'll just do that. I reckon it's usually like whenever I'm like, oh fuck, it's the system, there's some thing that I didn't, like the system must be broken or whatever. It's like, it's always me. It's always me. Okay. It's interesting, like Wikipedia has like APIs. So it's not really saying anything about, okay, so I'm just gonna get rid of it. And then that's gonna cause an issue, no? Graph.rootIndex. I'm just see what happens. And if that doesn't work, I'm just gonna set it to some fucking random like ID. I feel like something's a bit funky in this order. Like this doesn't get used, but whatever. It's generally my fault. The Child of Angry Parents Guide to Software Development. Step 1, it's always your fault. Step 2, apologize to the computer. The log I put in broke it. That's funny. All right. Yeah, I feel like I'm like edging around some like set of patterns in Python that I actually don't understand. And it's fine. I ain't complaining. Oh my God. I reckon this doc's out of date, actually. Or, yeah, I'm not seeing anything about it. So transform extra info is maybe called transform metadata now. Hmm. So there you go, graph, query engine, graph is query engine. Custom query engines are these things. So maybe like where I'm setting the service context. Like so I guess, all right. Maybe I do need to upgrade length chain then. Here we fucking go. langchain.llms f12. Yeah, I reckon it's gonna be like control of OpenAI, import OpenAI, and I reckon it's gonna be like okay. All right, so that warning over and over again is probably a good clue. I should update it. Okay, so all right, let's see how that goes. So basically just, yeah. Well, I thought I already did this. Well, I got through it, that's something. Okay, so yeah, it's good, sort of. How do I turn on logging? Logging. I think it's a service context thing. So if I go up to the service context, llama logger. And llama logger is just some guy. All right, so I'm just gonna try it again. That's good. Like it's like what some of the hardest parts are like getting through the whole execution cycle. Because it's like usually that's where it's passing between different code bases, like different, I want to say modalities, but that sounds a bit overwrought. But yeah, passing through like different like data structures and interacting different code bases. So like once you've got those things linked up, you can, you know, in each zone, like fix what's going on and think about what's being transformed, but not be like, you know, going completely off the rails each time. Okay, so like what I did then was add the okay, so what bugs are recorded that are currently being addressed or listed in the to-do? Okay, so it feels like it's only querying the, I don't know what it's doing. So I feel like I could basically call this like graph query. Okay, so maybe I'll just put this in somewhere. Oh, which is what I've got there already. Just gonna, now let's not start deleting stuff just yet. Okay, so here it says so what's it doing? It's got summaries. Here, and then it's got the graphs. It's got the keywords, which is this. It's interesting. Then it's okay. So then I've got query engines. The whole graph index struct. That's these two. Service context, which is defined here as some random shit. Llama logger, which is defined I imported logging as well. Yeah, it's up there. Import logging, import sys, LlamaIndex. So what does the llama logger actually do? The old logger class. So maybe I could go llama logger dot set get logs. So query engines is this. Custom query engines here. For index in vector indexes, custom query equals query engines. So it's got the 3. Logs. Oh man, I lost I lost it again. Fuck. Customization. No agents. Structured data extraction. Here we go. Nope. So unified query. So maybe these indexes don't have the service context. And then they also need the so if I go index.index struct.index ID equals label, all right, let's see how this goes. All right, last time, and then I think that's it for me now. But you know, we've got like small wins, but we're definitely retrieving indexes across documents, and the start of like at least using another type of index and like getting the shape of it, which is good, I guess. I'm kind of at the limits of my mental capacity. Which is a good thing. All right, one more just to see what happens. So basically all that I've done now here is just set the ID, which I don't think it even needed. So yeah, I think probably what I need to do for the llamaIndex stuff is just like get an environment set up where it doesn't rely on Nova at all, and I'm just writing the commands in terminal, because all this is like a lot of like fatigue. So yeah, it might be the case that I just have to park this for now, because there's other things I got to do, which is okay. Like I guess I did the classic, like I fixed the querying, like I updated the querying system, but then I didn't, then I was like, oh, maybe I can make, you know, 2 queries instead. Okay, so I'm just going to Control Z my way back to like, I guess, that. I'll just run a quick query to make sure that that works. Basically, it seems like it's like not, it's not creating new questions. Oh, here we go, actually. Based on this. Okay, then down here in the actual decompose transform, I had removed this because it wasn't working. So let's see how that goes. Empty response. All right. Well, all right, I want to at least have it that it was working at all. I'm just looking longingly out the window. I'm honestly spinning out a bit about just like not my career prospects. Well, yeah, I guess so. Like I thought I'd be able to like make some sick product and make a bit extra money, and now I'm like, I actually am barely even able to make a fucking working program. Okay, empty response. Okay, so I control Z too far? I think. No, I've got the transform metadata index summary is index struct.summary. So it doesn't. That's wrong. So can I go index struct dot summary? Is that? Which is this? Okay, so I'm not going to try and do that because it's tricky, but I should be able to go. So yeah, it's like, you know what, maybe because it's like when they're creating the indexes, they're I reckon it might be something to do with this, like the service context stuff. Okay, that's interesting. Basically what I'm thinking is that possibly like the actual creation of the index that I'm doing, because I'm not using the service context, that's like, it's pretty old school, I guess, is that it's I just don't understand why it's doing that. Okay, hang on, these texts. Maybe that's actually the question that's confusing it. Within these two documents. What documents, what bugs are found, what bugs in the bug in Nova bugs list are, what bugs in the Nova bug list are already recorded in the to-do list? Huh. So why did that give nothing? Okay. Hey, that's a win, I guess. All right, I'm gonna park that now. Gonna wrap up the stream. That's cool. You know, hey, it just you know, how informed it was by the content is another question, but that was pretty good progress. You know, it was able to reference both documents, decompose its question, and query the same question across multiple documents. It's funny because I'm kind of realizing as I'm unpacking it is that Nova can basically does already do that. So it's like maybe I should just lean into that, those workflows that support that in Nova, because it's sort of the same ones that also transform media and edit and things like that.